Mothers are the queens of the castle, but let's be real, it's not all ball gowns and glass slippers.
On this podcast, we're giving you a peek behind the throne at the privilege and responsibility of wearing the crown. My name is Helen Kimbrough, and I'm a proud wife and mom of 2 adult sons.
And I'm Charlitta Hatch, a proud wife, married to my high school sweetheart, and a proud mom to 2 little ones. Get ready as we share jewels with each other
and you around all things connected to motherhood.
Welcome, everyone. We are back with Behind the Throne. And you know what? I have got to reintroduce my friend, my sister, my girl, Dr. Charlitta Hatch. That girl has earned that title.
Yes,
and so we are
free the hard way.
We are so excited and happy for her, and thought it was just so appropriate too, because right now when I'm out in public, with her, I have decided that I'm going to start calling her Dr. Hatch when I see her. If she is in public spaces and forums, that is how I'm going to address her, because it's important for us to know what that journey was and what that journey looks like. And then the outcome of that is she is a doctor. And so everyone else just get on board. We're not debating this. Just get on board. And she's not even, from a friend standpoint, she's not saying, oh, this is what you have to do. It's the way that I honor her in doing that. So just wanted to share that. Now, if I'm at her house or if she's at my house, she's still my girl, Charlita. Okay.
Yes.
So just wanted to be clear on that.
Oh, thank you.
So how does that feel, Dr. Hatch?
It is surreal. I mean, it was a journey that I never even intended to embark on. And I think it goes through like some of the things that we always talk about. It's just like coming from a place of yes and just being open to opportunities as they come to you. But it has been life-changing and transformative. And so specifically around a PhD in curriculum and instruction, but focused in urban education. And it took me so long to find my voice and what I was even there for. And really being confident in understanding that when we are talking about urban education, we can talk about educators, we can talk about administrators and their roles, but there is a strong role that parents have.
Of course.
And who would be underrepresented in their voice and also in research would be Black mothers. And when you start to think about urban education reform and how long we've been on this journey to change the outcomes for students, specifically Black children, you have to ask, when we've ever wanted change in this country,
yes,
who do we have on the front lines? From voting rights to Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
And so when we talk about urban education reform, whose voices do we really need to be seeking out? Our Black mothers.
Yes.
And so being able to go on that journey to add to the body of scholarship, Black mothers from an asset-based perspective of what we want for our children and what we're looking for, and then to be able to provide solutions was such an honor. But it also is helping me in my own parenting and educational journey with my own children and with my village of friends, and now in my role as a school board member, being able to take those experiences and those voices and be at the table. I mean, it's just, you always say God is in the details. And when this started, over 5 years ago with the master's program, but never would have imagined that we would be here in this space. So thank you for your support and for cheering me on and praying for me and being patient with me when I haven't always been the best friend. So,
oh, girl, you're awesome. I wanted to go back to something you said, that it took you a while to find your voice and to know how to incorporate this specific content, the way that you shared and also validated for so many of us. How long did it take, and why do you think it took you so long?
I think a lot of times when you're in spaces where you have a unique perspective, but it's not matching everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start to think either yours is invalid, wrong, you're in the wrong room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in a program that is for educators, the
Mm-hmm.
educators that are, either wanting to deepen their pathways in the classroom or to be in
Yep.
leadership. And I knew that wasn't what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand why I was there. So for a while I was pretending. I mean, one of my professors called me out when I did an assignment on how to impact students' ELA scores. She's like, "What are you talking about? Like ELA scores? You never even been in the classroom. Like,
Yeah.
why are you writing on this?" And I'm like, "That's what you're supposed. That's what I thought you were supposed to do." She's like, "Be you. Find out
Mm-hmm.
your voice in this assignment," and that unlocked everything for me. I'm like, it
Mm-hmm.
is actually okay for me to write about what would help Black mothers have more trust in the classroom, and would it be through children's books that had
Yeah.
diverse characters on it. That was my very first like transitional assignment. That's
Mm-hmm.
authentic to me, and I
Yeah.
thought it didn't fit. And
Yeah.
so I think it was hard to find the voice because I was almost pretending and taking on other people's voices when really God gives
Mm-hmm.
us something in us. And even when
Yes.
that voice is different,
Yeah.
having the courage and the trust in Him to
Mm-hmm.
amplify that voice.
Mm-hmm.
And even if other people start to ridicule you and say, like, you're not qualified to be here, which is
Yep.
what some of my colleagues said. Like,
Yep.
you've never been a classroom teacher, you should not be here. And having
Mm.
to stand in that.
Yes. Wow. Wow. And to bring different perspective, different insight. Also, even bringing your corporate background into the space, I think was also helpful and teaches others that how do you stand and be yourself at the same time, right? So, yeah.
And to raise up,
Hmm.
parents are a major stakeholder in the education system.
Girl,
It is
yes.
not just
Yes.
our classroom teachers who we love,
No.
but they
No.
want the partnership with parents. And so
Hmm.
we do have to uncrack the code of what does it look like in this generation of family engagement? How do we reach parents? How do we honor parents and assume that they want the best for their children and treat them as such?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a perspective that I could lift up that was pretty much out of the conversation because they're all talking about the instructional piece that's happening
Hmm.
in the classroom.
Yes.
But we
Yes.
know that there's the other pieces that
Yes.
go along with it. But I
Yep.
didn't have that confidence walking in
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
weren't
And
there.
and you're positioned, favorably now because you have children, the age that you are referring to. And so not only are you trying to find out this information for yourself, you are also going to find out so that it benefits other families and parents, in
Yes.
addition to you being on the school board. So that's the other high component of this.
Yes. And so there's me and
Yes.
my changes, but you also had some pretty life-changing moments yourself. And I am just so proud because I think especially as we mature,
Hmm.
people think that we can't evolve
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
that
yeah.
we just want to just sit and not change. And that is definitely not you. And I think you've done some big, bold things. And so I'd love to create a space for you to
Absolutely.
share those things.
I know. I'm gonna try to do this and not get emotional. I,
They expect you to be emotional. They expect it.
I
It's
know. I know. So, yes, over the course of well, towards the end of 2025, um, I decided that I was going to launch my own coaching and consulting firm. I have been in nonprofit spaces and in consulting for, approximately 20 years or so. And I felt like it was due time for me to go ahead and make this leap. And as Charlita was saying, God will plant a seed in you, and it is up to you to as to how you're going to respond to what he plants in you. And so he has graciously allowed me to, before launching, to spend some time and rest, recalibrate, renew myself, through, again, working out and doing hard things like Pilates. He's allowed me to do that and incorporate into my walking routine and into my yoga practice. And that specific exercise alone lets me know that I can do hard things. And so that is something that materialized while I was in deep rest. Also, I traveled to, Montgomery and to the Legacy Museum, and also walked the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, because I just needed to say thank you to so many of our ancestors who didn't really get to make a decision like I have decided to make for myself, and had the stamina, had the fervor, had the brilliance to do a lot of what I am um, treading upon right now, but weren't given the opportunity to do it. And so for me to actually see what they endured, and for them to not even know who I am, but to say, you know what, I'm going to do this for generations ahead of me so that you will have the opportunity, so that you can stand. And sometimes you may have to stand alone, but thankfully I have not. I have had like a core group of people around. I launched my Sparrow Hawk, which is the name of the company, um, in January 15th. So that's the actual day that my dad passed. And I felt like I needed to honor him and to say, you know what, Dad, you and I, we're doing this together. So Sparrow Hawk is really also in love of him, in recognition of him, but knowing that there is more work to do to help support mission driven organizations out here who want to sustain and to have longevity, and also to have clarity around their mission and vision and goals and objectives. And I'm here to actually serve in that way and in that capacity. So I appreciate you cheering me on and, telling me I got this, and so many others, people who looked at my website, and combed it over and over and over. My friend who had her peers look at it in London and Paris to let me know what I needed to do with it to make it really stand out. I'm so grateful and so appreciative for the support, and we're just going to continue to move forward. So thanks for asking.
Oh, yes, I love that. Let me ask you, when you took that time period of reset,
Hmm.
one, was that a hard decision? And then to curate that, thinking about our um, episode on soft life
Hmm.
and self care,
Hmm.
would you have considered that soft life, or was it so transitional that it was almost like not that?
Actually, I think I was ready for it. Because normally when I plan something, my husband will say, okay, I don't understand what you're doing here, but everything that you end up planning is going to actually work itself and come to pass. And so even when it was like, I don't understand why you have to go to Montgomery. Why are you doing this? My mother was like, okay, why are we here again? But it was something that I knew that I needed to do. So I was ready for the opportunity to transition. Now, I think this was not just about me, but it was also showing my husband what I needed to. Because I think when we do pause and we do take breaks, they're not wired that way. They're like, I don't understand why. I mean, why are you sleeping and resting for 3 weeks? I don't understand. And you say, my body is tired. Like 2025 has been a tough year. And as soon as I was mentally ready to pause and to take a break, my body just said, okay, we're going to take a break. And that's what that resulted in. And I think he at first thought something was wrong with me. And I was just like, no, I'm just refilling my cup. Like, I have to. do this at this moment. So it was also teaching him, like, and specifically for most of our families and most of our Black men, they've always seen Black women working, um, and working over and over again, or seeing their grandparents or great grandparents doing a lot of the hard work and not really receiving benefits from it. So for me, it was a privilege to sit in this space, but it also was a privilege for me to say, you know what, Marcus, this is what this looks like for Black women. And you're just gonna have to get on board, like, because I cannot pause it. Now I'm in full motion of it. So I would say it was a transition that I was ready for, that I was just destined to have at this moment, and I do consider it a privilege.
In one of our previous conversations, you mentioned like trying to explain it to your mom and then now trying to explain it to your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Who was harder to get it?
I would actually say, initially it was my mom. I would think it was the harder one because, my mom was an educator for 33 years, and she only had one job. And the simple fact that I am more of a risk taker, she's like, okay, what are you doing? And I don't understand why do you feel like you need to do this? And again, if my dad were alive, he would automatically get it, right? Because he was called to something. He was called to do something. He was a minister, and that is a calling that you have. He just didn't decide or proclaim like, "Oh, this is what I want to do as my career." He's like, he had a whole different career that he wanted to do, but he was called to do it. And so I think there's also a distinction of what have you been called to do that you haven't done or that you need to respond to. Um, if I go back to, case in point with you, you were called to be into the master's program and into the doctoral program. I mean, you didn't understand that. You were like, what? This is not my background. This is not what I do. I'm an expert in tech, and now you have me going in education. And then you pivoted and changed, and went into a government role, and that was awkward for you as well. But again, you were like, I got to pay attention to the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it ended unfolding itself. And then we could see, like, wow, this is what you were literally meant to do. And I feel like this season of where I am, I feel like this is what I am called and meant to do. And I just have to say yes and respond to the call. So this is definitely a faith journey. I tell people I don't see the whole staircase. I'm literally just taking incremental steps into what is designed for me. And I'm just living in it. I'm trusting it. And I believe that, all those things will come to fruition if I just, have the belief that it will, and trust that God gave it to me, that He's going to see me through.
Amen. And reason why I asked you that question is because I was actually just thinking about myself and
Hmm.
like how, when you're having conversations with your mom and your husband, it's like they both are supportive,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
right? They both are
Absolutely.
supportive,
Absolutely.
but sometimes it like you still kind of always want to live up to your mom,
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
see like
Hmm.
how much they did with
Hmm.
fewer resources, fewer this
Yes.
or
Yes.
that. There are sacrifices that they made, and
Absolutely.
like I always say, like I never saw my mom going to brunch. She didn't go
Hmm.
out with girlfriends. She
Hmm.
didn't shut the door, and like
Hmm.
all that type of stuff. And so sometimes I feel, I don't want to say bad, but like
Hmm.
for lack of a better word, bad when I'm like trying to explain those things.
Yeah.
Um, because she's still going to support it. But sometimes I'm like, I wonder if she's like, feed this generation, And what my husband though, he's just like, okay, kind of like Marcus, like whatever it is that you need, like
Hmm.
I know
Hmm.
you're gonna do you,
Hmm.
like
Yes.
all of
Yes.
that. I
Yes.
don't even know if sometimes he fully gets. what the
Yes.
depths of what I'm
Yes.
saying. Like my
Yep.
mom, I think she gets the depth, right?
Yep.
So it's just like interesting where you have like two close people, very
Yeah.
supportive,
Yes.
but you kind of still brace yourself for like what you think their reaction is going to be, and then
Yes.
the confidence to still stand in it and to say this is what I need. Because I
Oh,
think there,
absolutely.
especially earlier in my mothering, either I didn't
Mm-hmm.
communicate it
Mm-hmm.
or I would hide it. Like if I
Mm.
took off, I wouldn't tell my mom or my husband I took off.
Wow.
Right. And I would just be off because I
Yeah.
didn't want them to like, I didn't want them to fill my day up. I
Mm-hmm.
also didn't want my mom not to keep my kids because I was off. And I didn't know that it would be honored, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, bringing them along like for the ride. Like I asked my mom, I could have gone to Montgomery and to Selma by myself. Um, and I asked her to go with me, even though she was just like, okay, I'm not sure why we're going, but I've never been to the Legacy Museum. And of course, she said, now I'm not, I mean, I'll be in the car as you go and walk the Edmund Pettus Bridge because I've done that already. So there were some things that she's like, I'm not doing that. But I also think given that time, we had like quality time to really talk about, my transition and all of those things, which I think is also important because you're not going to rush where they are in their process around it. The goal is really to effectively communicate, and also to hear from them as to how, they see things as well. And, both of us have like these, stirring gospel, mothers. So they're going to pray over you and pray over you, and even if they don't understand it, they know that, you
God
are
does.
here for a purpose. And
Hmm.
so, you know what? We're going to stand in that. And so I'm grateful, for that too. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, it's been a good transition for both of us, and
Yes.
we're both in new seasons.
Yes.
And so, what is one thing that you are hoping to get out of this season
Uh,
of life?
yeah. Oh,
Not
of
the
life.
podcast.
You know what? I'm actually hoping to what I'm hoping to do, I'm trying to do more with less. So, or maybe the frame is less with more. Maybe I should say that, to do less with more. And so, both of us have been in consulting spaces. And so, you burn through a lot of clients when you are in those spaces. And so now what I'm hopeful is to be more strategic about who I would like to work with or desire to work with. And instead of having, so many clients like at one time, to really entrench myself and really understand a client, and do, less as well. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to doing as well. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I know with me, I'm trying to focus on unlearning, I think, some bad habits
Mm-hmm.
of feeling like you're always working towards something. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize that that's what I was doing.
Yep.
And so, what does it mean to actually just be
Mm-hmm.
in a season of
Mm-hmm.
this is where we are,
Yes.
and it's not another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I believe it's seasonal, but actually having to sit in it and like if
Mm-hmm.
opportunities come, like well, I'm not in a season right now, and
Mm-hmm.
referring other people and
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
being comfortable in,
Yes.
I think being strategic with your clients and
Mm-hmm.
maybe being more strategic with yes,
Mm-hmm.
um and and realizing that I'm an asset
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yes. Yes.
there's not a shortage of
Yes.
opportunities,
Yes.
and so like really kind of honoring
Oh, yes.
like my worth,
Mm-hmm.
my worthiness,
Yes.
being enough, and
Yes.
like focusing on what does that look like for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I've ever really sat in that space. And so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I've learned how to do that in this
And
season.
more importantly, what does that feel like for you?
Mhm.
Like, I think that's going to be one of the things that you're going to have to,
Why, you
you
want to
know,
see me cry?
I don't want you to cry, but like, what does that feel like for you? Like, and what does your body feel like, while you are, in this space and transitioning, into this new season of yourself? I think that would be something for you to write about, jot down, like, in a journal or, on your tech person. So you always have like your mechanical notes in there, writing all of that stuff down.
While
And
you're on
then,
your paper.
yes, yes, I do paper napkins, all the things. So I think that's important. And then the other thing too is also for me would be how to collaborate effectively. Because although you are, coaching and consulting, you can't do this work in a vacuum. And so you really do need to bring some collaborators on and or subcontractors on to really assist you like in this work and in this season. Now I'm just starting out, so but I see that down the road, of course. But to really collaborate effectively, like that's happening like right now, and so I'm grateful for that.
I love that for you.
Yeah,
I love that.
yes,
That's
yes.
awesome.
So yeah. hmm So that's what's been going on with us. We've been busy, busy bees.
Yes, we have, but we are glad to be back together. I think we have
Yep,
a lot of fun topics that we want to cover
absolutely.
over this season, and we
hmm
are looking forward to exploring them all with you. And so, with that, thank y'all for tuning in to Behind the Throne and catching up with us. Be sure to like, listen, comment, or subscribe wherever you are listening to Behind the Throne, and we will see you on the next side. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Behind the Throne podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and comment below with your feedback. Check out future episodes from us as we discuss motherhood from babies to adults.